The anime GTA game Ananta already has 10 million signups and it's nowhere close to launching. So many people are excited for this title, but that means there are individuals online who are attacking this tooth and nail. There are some journalists that are upset about this game, and there are individuals that are saying they completely stole other game systems and they need to be sued into oblivion. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, I'm cautiously optimistic. There are some games that have amazing teasers and trailers, and then they come out and they are absolutely abysmal, and I don't want to spend even 5 minutes more than I already had in the game. And this could be the case, right? They are highlighting a lot in this game. There are a lot of expectations riding on this title, but I do think that what we have seen so far is really solid, and they have tried to quell some of our worries. We know that it's not going to have character gotcha, and while NetEase definitely isn't the best company within the gaming industry, I do think that in this case, this is something to look forward to. The teasers and trailers have highlighted a lot of really cool gameplay, and that has upset some people. There are a lot of individuals online who are saying that maybe they need to be sued over this. It's a Watch Dogs game where you're able to hack and shut down city lights, a Spiderman game with web swinging and wingsuits, a Batman Arkham style combat system, Cyberpunk 2077 style hacking via security cameras, and it's basically an anime style GTA where they copy the weapon wheel, and it's also copying the character switching. And sure, I have definitely seen a couple of clips where it looks extremely similar to these other games it's being compared to, but ultimately calling for a lawsuit is quite different because you are basically saying that these companies own these certain gameplay systems and you are pushing them to patent these systems, which we know patents are the death of creativity in this industry. Right now, Nintendo has a patent for summoning. That means upcoming games like Elden Ring 2 can't technically use summons. They can't have mimic tiers. You can't have POW worlds where you summon creatures. That is extremely dangerous. And so I am not going to sit here and say that, oh, there needs to be a lawsuit and companies need to patent their gameplay, because we see what happens with things like the Nemesis system, right? We're not going to see that until probably 2040 at the earliest, because the patent runs out in 2036 and it's still going to take years after that for developers to actually use it. That is terrible. And sure, I get that you might say, oh, it's just generic because it's got all these systems that are similar to other games. But at the same time, when you are combining all of these systems, you have to admit that it is different in some way, shape, or form. It's totally fine if you don't like the look of it, if you don't think that this is really a game for you. I get it. I think that it looks really cool. I'm definitely going to be playing it. I'm one of the 10 million signups, but to call for a lawsuit is really just different. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh my gosh, Sony needs to do something about this, but Ananta is heavily advertised and marketed by Sony. The main trailers went up on the PlayStation account. Sony owns Insomniac Games. NetEase published Ananta and is also partnered with Marvel and produces arguably the most popular Marvel game of recent years. NetEase and Sony had a high-profile partnership back in 2021. Likely their partnership roles have expanded over the year, so Sony clearly knows what this game is and they are okay with it. Now, a part of this story that I think a lot of people maybe are forgetting is the fact that NetEase is a Chinese company, and in order to sell your games in China, you have to partner with a major company. Typically, that is Tencent or NetEase. And so, Sony probably doesn't want to risk pissing off NetEase and not being able to sell their games in China anymore, because they still view it as a partially untapped market. They think that, oh my gosh, we can reach so many more people if we have our games in China. So, they probably, first of all, don't want to piss them off. And second of all, they probably don't really care because ultimately they're getting money from this too. Now, will Ananta come out and be monetized really poorly and the systems won't be super fleshed out? That is a possibility, 100%. But from what we have seen right now and the promises that they're making, it does look pretty good. Now, again, cautiously optimistic. I personally don't trust NetEase, but to go and say that, oh, we need to see all of this action against them is pretty ridiculous. And there have been articles that have come out about this game over the past really year to year and a half since it was first revealed. And we have seen journos saying things like Ananta is an anime GTA 6. It's a creatively bankrupt gacha game. And they're saying, I'm going to play GTA 6 instead of this title. Congratulations. Do you want a pat on the back for that? It does have a lot of similar features to something like Batman Arkham and Spiderman and GTA. But that doesn't mean that it's going to come out and that it is going to be a bad game. Personally, one of my biggest worries is the fact that this could come out and be more unoptimized trash. Its PC total early 2024 build size was 233 to 250 gigs, and apparently testers reported it's now around 150 to 180 while still under development, and it possibly could be compressed, but that would be insane. I mean, 180 is comparable to the latest Call of Duty, but you're also taking into consideration that it's not just COD, it's Warzone and all of the other games that they want you to install at once, which is massive, but that is a lot of gigs. Now, we do not know what the scope of this game is going to be. According to some of the journos that have played it, it has not only the very similar mechanics to some other games, but they're saying that it actually has a lot of wild ideas of its own too. And it actually is right now very fleshed out, even though it's still in active development, punching guys with timing-based combos and counters reminiscent of the Arkham games, scripted quick-time events, on-rail car chases, web swinging around the city. But then there's weird stuff like hopping into the boots of Kaya, a purple-haired getaway driver / cop who is totally different set of play mechanics to the intro protagonist. It's a free roam mode. Ananta let me pull up a phone interface to swap between characters, triggering a GTA 5 camera swoop into the sky. They're saying that will it be fun? Will it produce any actually interesting systemic interactions, or all of these paper-thin mechanics that you'll use 3 times and never see fit to use again? They have no idea, but it does sure seem like a hell of a lot of work if it's the latter, which does sound pretty positive, I'm not going to lie. And apparently, the developers are aiming for it to be 40 to 100 gigs, but yeah, I'm worried about the state of the game regarding its optimization and how it's going to run, if it's going to have any technical difficulties. Yet we have people sitting here saying, oh my gosh, it's a total copy and paste. And again, I'm not blind, right? I can see that it definitely has similarities to some games, but when you're putting so many of these mechanics together, it really makes me feel like it's either going to be an absolutely phenomenal game or it's going to be absolutely terrible and everyone is going to forget about it in 5 minutes. And given the amount of work and effort and the level of quality we've seen so far, I hope it's the first option. I hope this comes out and I hope it's really good, but there are people that are very bothered by this game at this point, saying it is ridiculous and it's not okay. Oh, it's gacha slop, so I'm not gonna play it. Crazy to have all that and still be soulless. Doubt it's real. The day before situation again. It's peak anime slop and it will print billions. Bro said GTA 6 style visuals and it looks like No More Heroes. This is literally stolen assets slop. Like the Spider-Man stuff isn't just similar, it's literally the same animations and everything. China just takes what works and copies it, and it almost always pays off. Making a slurry of game mechanics from other games guarantees it'll be boring slop without any thought put into it. So I will be playing this when it comes out. I'm one of the signups. I think that it looks pretty solid so far, and I just think it's pretty ridiculous that there are so many people calling for this game to be shut down, calling for suits, calling for people to be as offended and upset as they are. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.